If you're a facilities manager at a university, you know students rely on the cafeteria for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and the occasional late-night snack. So when a dishwasher breaks down and dirty plates pile up, the mess hall can turn messy in the blink of an eye. Enter Grainger. With over 1 million industrial-grade products and fast delivery, the product you need now is never far away. So you can turn that dishwasher back into a lean, clean washing machine. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Oh, sorry, that's for a Democrat show.
Let me know when you're ready.
No matter what the technical difficulty is, this man is a professional. He goes all the way.
What you represent to them is freedom.
Was an extremely great conservative commentator. We're tearing it up on Wednesday night. This is awesome. This will allow me to retort.
Well, this is Jersey Joe for the Reaver of Common Sense show. 8 p.m. on shrmedia.com.
Actually, I just totally screwed up. This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover's here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's see. Do you want a kick-ass t-shirt? Do you want a survival bracelet? An actual handmade, custom-made survival bracelet? Not one of those knockoffs, mass-produced, a shell of a survival bracelet? Well, go to reaver.1/shop and order yours today. So, not that we're going to go to commercial, I'm going to put everybody on hold for just a minute here. I got to get on the line. I have Project Veritas I was supposed to be interviewing today. I never count on anything because my luck, shit happens. So I'm going to put a little music on while I get everything hooked up and get them on the line. So please bear with me. We're going to have Project Veritas right here in a moment.
Hush now, don't you cry. Wipe away the teardrop from your eye. You're lying safe in bed. It was all a bad dream spinning in your head. Your mind tricked you to feel the pain of someone close to you leaving the game of life. So here it is, another chance. Wide awake, you face the day. Your dream is over. Or has it just begun? There's a place I like to hide, a doorway that I run through in the night.
And I want to welcome everybody. Well, I'm back. That was really weird. And I want to welcome Russ from Project Veritas to the show. How you doing, Russ?
I'm doing great, Jersey Joe. It's a pleasure to be on with you and an honor to visit with your listeners.
No, the honor is all mine, and I just want to welcome you to the show, and I want to thank you not just for being here today, but the work that you guys are doing in exposing the corruption. I'm beyond honored to be speaking to you guys, and that's one thing. Please understand with me, I'm not a host or anything like that. My background is I was an EMT firefighter for 20 plus years. I'm now disabled, so I do this because I don't like the way our system is going. So I do this to speak out. I'm not a radio host, so hopefully you can bear with me on some maybe some idiosyncrasies that I have with stuff. But thank you so much.
Let me thank you for being a first responder, one of those people that rush in when all of the rest of us want to rush out of a situation. So thank you.
I appreciate that. I wish I could still do it. I really do. I miss doing it. It was more than a career to me. It was a job. I mean, not a job.
Mm-hmm.
It was just my love, my passion.
Mm-hmm.
So
I understand. Jersey Joe, can I just give you listeners a little recap of what we've done over the last 10 days or so?
Perfect. Okay,
so here at Project Veritas Action, and you can go to our website if you want to follow on with any of these stories, projectveritasaction.com. Under the leadership of James O'Keefe, we have been out doing undercover investigations, and almost a year ago we ran across a fellow by the name of Scott Fogle who liked to talk. So we just kept going back and interviewing him surreptitiously over and over again, and he kept giving us a lot of great statements and leads to other people. So through him, we got a lead to another fellow by the name of Bob Creamer. Scott Fogle, his job, we believe, is the national field director for a nonprofit called Americans United for Change. Bob Creamer, he's a high-powered Democratic consultant, been to the White House 340-plus times during the Obama administration, has been in meetings with President Obama 47 times. He is the ringleader of the dark money cabal in the Democratic Party campaigns. So Fogle is one of his lieutenants working for that nonprofit. And what Fogle tells us in the videos, in his own words, of course he didn't know he was being recorded, so he could be honest. He didn't have to give us the talking point version. But in his own words, he says that for over 50 years, the Democrats have been doing voter fraud. And they've been getting buses on Election Day and busing people around from polling place to stuff the ballot box. And he's proud of it. But he said people are catching on, so now we're probably not going to use buses anymore. We might use rental cars in the future so that people don't see the bus pull up. No remorse about diminishing the First Amendment right to choose our leader of the country, the most precious right of all, the right to vote. They were proud of the fact that they could stuff the ballot box. Then he started talking about fomenting violence. They would train people, recruit them, train them, and send them to Trump rallies. And the purpose of these trained operatives would be to create some type of an altercation with Trump supporters that would make the Trump supporters look bad. And many of your listeners, they may remember the incident about a month and a half ago down in North Carolina where a 69-year-old woman was punched by a Trump supporter because of her position opposing Trump and supporting Hillary. Well, Fogle tells us that was one of his operatives. They trained that woman to go in and take that punch. And they bragged about incidents at the Iowa State Fair.
Can I interrupt you real quick for a second?
Yeah, sure.
That was Shirley Teeter, and didn't she has Teeter. Now recanted her story. She's backtracked on it.
After our videos came out, she said, well, maybe I really wasn't punched. Maybe I might have just been pushed. So, she's recanting her story now. Now that she's ruined some poor guy's life.
Yeah, that poor man that was being charged with it. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
He's got to be happy as anything and praising you guys' tune right now. Go ahead.
Exactly.
Sorry for interrupting.
So he went on telling us how they fomented violence in Chicago and Wisconsin and Arizona and Iowa, and proud as a peacock about all of that stuff. When we released our video about the violence and about the voter fraud, lo and behold, Scott Fogle is fired by the Americans United for Change, and Bob Creamer, who is a consultant and sort of the ringmaster, he resigns his position as consulting to the Clinton campaign, the DNC, and everybody else in Washington. Now, we think that Creamer is probably just a wink and a nod that I resigned, but he's going to keep doing all of the coordination he was doing before. But, these two people, very high-level Democratic operatives, resigned without ever pointing to anything in our videos that were incorrect. It's them in their own words. Now, of course, we all hear that O'Keefe does, he heavily edits his videos as though they'd be happy if we lightly edited them. The fact of the matter is journalists go out and collect a lot of information and boil it down into a coherent, understandable story with a beginning, a middle, and an end. That's what journalism is all about. That's what we do with our videos. We have over 100 hours of video of these folks, and you can't put that out as a story. You got to put out a 3, 5, 15-minute story.
Yeah, public. What is it? Public can only pay attention for like 7 minutes. Is the average?
Yeah. Well, and that's what journalism is, not to give them 100 hours of video, but to give them the important information out of it in context. And none of our videos have ever been challenged about being in context. So these two guys resign. Then we release another video that we call it, it's all about Donald Duck. They came up with the idea of using a person in a Donald Duck costume at Trump events, and the theory would be that they have a sign that Donald Duck's releasing his tax returns, or Donald Duck's debates if he had decided not to participate. They have this character going around all over the country following the Trump events with local supporters and signs and all. Well, the DNC passed that job off to this nonprofit organization, Americans United for Change, Fogle's company that he worked for. And when and we hear from Bob Creamer in his own words that the Donald Duck uniform, the costume, and chasing the Trump campaign that way was Hillary Clinton's idea, hers personally. So here we have the candidate instructing that this activity take place. It takes place paid for by a nonprofit corporation, which is illegal. So corporations can't pay for political activities. So this nonprofit is spending money in coordination with Hillary Clinton to influence the outcome of the election by seeking support for Hillary or opposition to her opponent, which they were doing with the Donald Trump Duck uniform. So we released that, and they still have no defense against it because we've got them in their own words and plenty of pictures of them showing up at all these events around the country in the Donald Duck costume. And one of the ways that we got the ability to penetrate them so deeply and gain so much confidence was we talked to them about contributions. Washington's a city that exists on pay for play. You want access to somebody, you got to pony up money in a campaign contribution or a contribution to a foundation or their favorite charity, which is themselves. So we made a contribution to Americans United for Change of $20,000, and they were perfectly willing to accept that. It came from a bank in Belize that we had set up a shell company in Belize, and the check came from a bank down there to them, or the wire transfer. And they were perfectly happy to keep it until they found out that we were undercover stinging them, and then they had second thoughts that maybe they shouldn't have accepted the overseas money because they were using it for political activities. They could use it for other activities, but not for political activities. So they returned the money. So we got our access, and we got our money back too.
It was stuttering to watch these videos.
Yeah, there's so much more to the story, Joe, that, for instance, we found out from this Fogle character that in 2012, during the Mitt Romney campaign, there was a bartender at a fundraising event that was supposedly private, who taped Mitt Romney talking about 47% of the people in a derogatory way. That came out and hurt Mitt Romney. Well, Fogle tells us that wasn't really the bartender that did it. It was one of their agents that went in and did it with the cooperation of the bartender, but it was one of their agents that set it all up. So these guys have been around for a long time doing the dirty tricks, and they're running the dark money cabal of the Democratic Party. And at the same time, they're railing about campaign finance reform, yet they're violating the very basic 1976 campaign prohibition against corporate spending for political purposes. So,
well, as they said, they expect the Republicans to follow the rules, and they don't want to follow the rules.
Yes, do as I say, not as I do with them, right? So we've got a few more little things that will be coming out over the next few days. We've got some other things that we'll be releasing in some of the Senate races. It's been a busy year for us.
So there is more videos to come?
Yeah, there's a little more to come on these Kramer and Fogle things. And then there's some reports we're going to put out on the Senate races. That a few of the Senate races we've had people undercover in. So we've got more, and then we'll be out on Election Day looking for voter fraud again. So if any of your listeners want to catch up on the latest of our videos, they're all online at ProjectVeritasAction.com. We got a whole bunch of them up there on our website, and we'll be looking around for plenty of voter fraud on Election Day in as many states as we can cover.
I'm still literally shocked when I watch those 4 videos. The first one, I was literally angry, so pissed off when I watched that they had the balls to actually do this. And as I watched all these videos, was it shocking to you guys how much they were bragging and open about their tactics, how just they were willing to talk about it so openly? That shocked me. Did you guys have to prod them to get it, or?
Well, you get them in a bar and they have a drink or two. They start talking, and loose lips sink ships. So
exactly,
they didn't pay attention to who they were talking to. They didn't do any due diligence, and they just kept shooting their mouth off and offering to show how important they were by introducing you to the next level up. And we went from level to level to level. We could have been embedded with them for, right at the heart of all the Democratic Party operations for, everything to come in the future if we didn't have to expose ourselves by issuing these reports right now. We had that kind of confidence. We had somebody working as an intern directly for Bob Kramer in his office. And he invited her every week to attend a meeting at the White House one night every week. We couldn't allow her to go because you can't enter a federal building under a false name, and our undercover agents don't use their real names when they're out on assignment. So we had to come up with an excuse why she wasn't available every week on that day to go to the White House. But it shows you how much access Kramer had, that he had a regularly scheduled meeting every week, and he had a conference phone call with the White House and many other people every day. So he was right at the heart of this whole thing as the ringmaster.
It amazes me, like you said, that you can't lie to the federal government. Because who is it? James got charged with lying, entering a federal facility underneath false pretense, I think it was. Am I wrong on that?
Yeah, that's basically what it was.
And it was a misdemeanor.
And yet,
they
he
lied to us.
showed them his real driver's license in order to get in the building. But you're right. It's like Martha Stewart. She didn't go to jail for insider trading. She went to jail for lying to an investigator. So they investigate her over insider trading, never bring a charge for insider trading, but she goes to jail for lying to them during the investigation of it. Go figure, you know?
And the whole time, our government, these senators, the Congress is lying to us nonstop. That has me going, wait a minute. They can lie to us, but we can't lie to them.
Yeah. I don't know if they lie, but they sure don't tell us the truth.
Yeah. It's amazing. The other thing I do want to get out is because they keep saying that they don't want to believe Mr. O'Keefe because he is a convict. I've heard that on plenty of interviews. But the charge is only a misdemeanor. It's not a felony. It's a misdemeanor.
Yeah, that's, again, when you can't deal with the message. And remember, Fogle and Creamer, one was fired, one resigned with never a word about anything wrong in our videos. So when you can't argue with the message, you attack the messenger. And that's all they're doing here is trying to discredit the messenger, and they don't mind playing fast and loose with the facts. Now, if there's a convicted criminal in this thing, it's Robert Creamer. He is a convicted felon. He did serve 5 months in jail for tax fraud, bank fraud. And he did serve house arrest for bank fraud. Now, James negotiated a settlement of a misdemeanor charge for entering the building under false pretense. But right in the court report, it clearly states that he never attempted or intended or had any desire to commit any felonies. Yeah. But you can't get the other side to stop claiming that that's what happened. But, you know, that's just attacking the messenger because you can't deal with the message.
Exactly. I just wanted to bring that up so my listeners understand when they hear that's all they're trying to do is discredit. And what he was charged with and what he pled to was a minor issue. So they're trying to make the old expression, a mountain out of a molehill. It's just amazing. And like you said, they don't deny it. I hate to bring up the other one, but the WikiLeaks, I mean, they're trying to, blame it on Russia for it. But the whole time, they're really not denying that these emails are the actual emails. I've heard, that's just campaign chatter. I'm surprised I haven't heard that with the videos, that it's campaign chatter.
Yeah, they use any defense they can to try to deflect the public interest from the substance of the reports, whether it's WikiLeaks or Project Veritas. But, if your listeners go to our website, projectveritasAction.com, and look at these videos, you'll clearly see that they're in context. These people are standing there spouting off. It's fully in context and in their own words that they're hanging themselves. We don't make any of this stuff up. You can see it yourself right in video.
Just a couple more quick questions. Actually, two more, because when you went over that first part, you knocked out so many of my questions. How dangerous does this work? I mean, these guys are not Cub Scouts that we're dealing with. Have you guys had any threats? Do you fear for your family at all? Even just a reprisal of the federal government? I mean, you got to be fearful.
Well, we anticipate that the infrastructure of federal agencies is pretty much the upper-level career offices of most government agencies lean Democrats. So, will IRS and FEC and any of the others take a hard look at us? Sure, probably they will, but we can deal with that stuff. We're big boys and girls. We can deal with that. Have there been any threats? There are always threats to anybody that's out in the public eye, but are there credible threats? We don't believe so at this point. However, we're not going to take a chance, and we've made provisions for personal security and physical security. So we're well prepared for whatever might happen, but we're going to tell the truth no matter what.
Thank you very much for that. This is kind of actually a little side joke. My father-in-law is a diehard liberal, unfortunately. And I know he's not happy right now because he is an alumni of Rutgers, and I'm pretty sure he's bitching at Rutgers for training and teaching James O'Keefe to be so due diligent in his work. I cannot praise you guys enough. You're exposing everything that we've thought about for years but had no proof. You guys have exposed that to the public eye. And it's hopefully going to make an impact in this election. There's already so many people tired of the government and their double standards, and you guys just exposed that, and thank you so much. One last question, if you don't mind. Do you think the exposure that you got is going to make it harder for any future work that you plan to do?
No, we don't think it'll make our job any more difficult. We've had incidents, and we've even put them out in some of our reports. Like James O'Keefe walked up to a polling place in North Carolina in 2014, and this lady that was sitting outside telling people which way to go, she looked up at him and says, "You're James O'Keefe, aren't you?" And James looks at her and says, "I get that everywhere I go." And she said, "Okay," and goes in and they give him a ballot in there. It happens over and over again. They think he's James O'Keefe, but they're not quite sure enough to deny him. And then we had an incident a couple of weeks ago where we disclosed this one in our Wisconsin Russ Feingold video report released, where one of our undercover journalists was in his campaign office in Wisconsin working, and was discovered. It turned out that somebody who went to college at the same time recognized our journalist and outed our journalist to the staff. So they called her into the office and told her not to come back anymore. That very same day, James O'Keefe was in California at a fundraiser for Feingold, and you can see in the video, even though he's in disguise, he's standing there talking to Russ Feingold, and the same day they thought they got our undercover journalist out of the campaign. So, every time we do one, more people are vigilant, but they never think it's going to happen to them. So a little bit of cockiness allows us to get in and get the investigation done. So our journalists are well trained. They know how to go in and just become helpful to everybody and earn their confidence.
Thank God we have still journalists that want to do their job, because too many times we see the so-called journalists that they're in bed with the politicians anymore. These are the jobs that have exposed so much corruption within our government over the years. Thank you so much. We're going to go to break, and that's kind of all the questions that I had. I was told I only had you for like 10 minutes today, so...
Well, that's a quick 10 minutes, Jersey Joe. I want to thank you, and again, thank all your listeners. And if they go to ProjectVeritasAction.com, they can see all of our videos.
Perfect. And I would love to have you guys on again in the future, so keep me in mind.
Look forward to it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Network, Red Nation Rising Radio, YouTube Speaker, and iTunes. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network. Now, at Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our Gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
you got a business. That you didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying cow for the stupid pro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mud Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the reaverofcommonsense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and we are making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey expansion is here. Yes, it is. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to Reaver.1/shop. So, we just had Russ from Project Veritas on the show. Holy, it's what the heck's going on here? Dang it. I don't know what the hell is going on. Now all of a sudden everything is like my left stereo is dropping low. And it seems to do that. My left side gets weaker and weaker and weaker. And I don't know why it does that. It's not the microphone. Huh. I don't know. Did I knock that down? I don't know. There we go. Can we bump that? There we go. All right, I think I got it back. There we go. All right. Now I can actually get on to some news and talk about it. Because it was really bugging me having it stronger in one ear and not the other. Now, it seems to be that my knobs, I don't even touch them and they'll go haywire. And if I just tap them, they go back to the way they were. Because the pan left and right for the stereo, I've noticed the left side getting weaker and weaker and weaker and weaker. So I just touch the pan button and everything went right back to where it should be. So I don't know. I have a very good announcement. I'm trying to find an article so I can get more information on it. Because right before I came on air, I saw it announced. I can't believe they don't have it anywhere. They're trying to hide this information. Okay, here's one of the... Actually came out yesterday. I just found out today. Damn, I fell like an idiot. The Bundys in the 7... I think it was a total of the 7 of them. And they were arrested for armed standoff in Oregon. They have all been found innocent. They are not guilty. The jury has found them that it was a peaceful protest. Now, out there, everybody is armed. Everybody is armed. So it was not an armed takeover. It was a protest against government. They took over a building that the people technically owned. They didn't destroy nothing. They didn't riot. They didn't loot. They sat there. That's a protest. I know Democrats don't see that because it's not a cause that they're behind. You know what? If Black Lives Matter went around a more peaceful way of protesting, you might see people getting behind them. Do I think cops are out to murder black people? No. Is our justice system maybe set up that blacks are getting a higher conviction rate? Are the blacks getting punished more than whites? Possible. Yes, I don't know every bit of the facts. This other bit of going after and attacking the police, causing riots, looting, chanting pigs in a blanket, fry them like bacon. What do we want? We want dead cops. When do we want it? We want it now. All those slogans that happen with Black Lives Matter. That pushes anybody away from supporting them. What happened with the Bundys at the Bundy Ranch was peaceful. Were there people armed and standing up to the police? Yes, but nobody really did anything illegal. There's still the trials of all those that were arrested like a year later, which still makes me laugh. Shows our government how corrupt they are. A year later. And nobody was hiding. Nobody was doing any of that. They were still out in the open. And I believe there's still a major investigation into the shooting death of Lavoie's. This is a government gone wild. But justice prevailed, amazingly. Now I'm reading through some of the articles, and it's funny how some of them are writing it. And the theatrics done by the defense attorney. Six weeks of testimony, followed by less than 6 hours of deliberation, and a last-minute replacement of a juror after an alleged surface that he was biased, or after allegation, sorry. This is big news. This was huge when I heard about it. Maybe the power is starting to swing away from the government again, which we need to do. What's that old expression? When the government fears its people, you have democracy. When the people fear the government, you have tyranny. And that's exactly what we have going on right now. And it's going to get worse if Hillary, a.k.a. the Joker, is elected into office. We're in a bad place, people. But we also have some heroes, such as Project Veritas, WikiLeaks. And as Russ was saying, they don't attack the facts. They don't deny the facts. They just attack the people that expose it. They try to discredit them without discrediting the information. So all they're doing is discrediting the messenger, or trying to discredit the messenger, but not the message. It is the typical work of the Democrats. It's the hide and go seek of information with them. Now, I don't agree with Mark Levine. Don't listen to him that much. Not a huge fan of his. Not saying any of his work is bad. Dang it. Just that I don't listen to other commentators, pundits, that much. I try not to. And it's nothing against them, just that I don't do it. It's not my bag. But Mark Levine was on Wednesday. Oh my God, yesterday, Wednesday, today's Friday. You can see why I'm happy it's Friday, because my brain's about shot. He got talking about Fox News and the Kelly File and its host, Megyn Kelly. Now, she's one of the major hosts and one of the first reasons I stopped watching Fox. It's not that she was attacking Trump. She was taking a liberal stance. She's trying to play this martyr for the women's movement. And she's trying to play innocent. Which is not becoming. For those that don't know, Megyn Kelly was on the Howard Stern show, and I'm actually a fan of Howard Stern. I used to listen to him before he went to the satellite radio. His shock jock does not shock me. I don't care that Megyn Kelly went on his show. But the discussion of sex, her husband's penis, and she had no problem with all that. But then she's going to act all shocked and try to be a martyr for the women's movement and stand up for everybody and stand up against Donald Trump. Well, she brings up the Rosie O'Donnell incident. And this is something my mother taught me. And my mother is against what happened. She's against Rosie O'Donnell. Because in her eyes, if a woman wants to go to war with a man, which Rosie did, in a verbal war, you can't expect special treatment just because you have a pussy. Oh my God, I can't say that word. I'm so sorry. Oh, yeah, fuck that. And that's what they're expecting. Because of her gender, she should have special treatment that she could say and do whatever she wants against Trump. But Trump has to be respectful and nice to her just because of her gender. Fuck that. You want me to treat you with respect? And this is the way I look at life. You want me to treat you with respect? You better treat me with some respect. You want to act like a piece of shit to me? Male, female, I'm going to treat you the same way you treat me. Which brings me, which kind of funny, and I know this guy's stewing. This guy was going on, attacking everybody on Twitter. And it's funny, I bet you after the election, his profile will disappear. And praising the tune of Obamacare, everybody's lying. It saved his wife. Obamacare saved his life. And he's literally going on, thank you, Obama, you saved my wife's life. She had cancer and you cured her. And then he goes and calls me a deadbeat. And he attacked me multiple times. He attacked my mother, which my mother wasn't even in the conversation. I forget what we were talking about. And the WikiLeaks and Project Veritas. And how maybe they should expose my naked mother. I let that one slide. And he came at me, started calling me deadbeat. I said, you know what? You're calling me a deadbeat. And this is my point of I'll treat you like you treat me. And I usually give a very big leeway. But I have had enough of this guy. I watched him just attacking. He was just pulling out this bird dogging shit. He's going to attack you until you say something nasty, and then he's going to play the victim. Well, I went back at him, but I play that I'm going to insult you, but I'm not. Because he called me a deadbeat. And number one, I said, well, I'm not complaining and running for Obamacare because not working, I would be eligible for Obamacare. But then he calls me a deadbeat. So I said, okay. So he's trying to knock me. Well, you just don't like Obamacare because you're a deadbeat. And my comment to him was, no, a deadbeat would be somebody that has to run and beg the government for help because they cannot take care of their own wife. And I know he's stewing and he's pissed. Because he's sitting there running to the government begging help to take care of his wife. He is nothing more than a troll. But yet I still try to take a little step back. But at the same time, I'm going to treat you like you treat me. And I've done that multiple times on Twitter. I'll let somebody, they'll attack. And after a while, it's enough's enough. And when it comes to this Megyn Kelly and the whole Rosie O'Donnell, Trump, those two have been going at it for months. They're going to make comments back and forth. Big fucking deal. You want to step into it, Megyn Kelly, and act like you're some martyr? Well, you can see what people think. Your ratings have dropped drastically. It seems, as Mark says, she's auditioning for another job. Fox News is going down the drain. And it's going down fast. It seems Fox is going down faster than Monica Lewinsky on Bill Clinton in the Oval Office. And who's leading that charge? That would be Rupert Murdoch's sons, because they have taken over. They're two liberal-leaning dumbasses. And it goes to show, just because you have money does not mean you have brains. They had the number one rated news agency, and they've run it into the ground. They're more left-leaning than they ever have. They're turning it to CNN. Now there's a lot of talk with AT&T buying out Time Warner and so forth. That the Murdoch brothers want to hire Nikes. Who is that? Can't remember. The one that turned CNN to the ground. That's going to bother me. But there's talks that CNN under AT&T banner might hire Roger Ailes to correct CNN and get it back going again. And that would be this is going to drive me nuts. I hate that. I hate that when you know information. Crap. And it totally leaves. Oh, whatever. Everybody knows what I'm talking about. So now there's talk that you'll probably see CNN and Fox if this goes about switching. MSNBC, Joe Scarborough is under major fire because he's actually reporting on the news and showing the bullshit that's going on with Clinton, calling her out and exposing her. And oh my God, people like the one that was attacking me on Twitter, that jackass, he's flipping out because I guess he's an MSNBC dumbass. And Joe Scarborough is actually talking about news, talking about what's going on, talking about Hillary Clinton as she really is. And he was losing him. But if I'm going to say this, Hillary is elected. She won't change. She will not change for what she's doing. And they, again, the Clintons will be in trouble for renting out the Lincoln bedroom. Again. This is the thing, people. They got in trouble with it once already. They were renting out the Lincoln bedroom when they were in the White House. They did that. I even remember it. So this little pay-to-play has been going on a long time. And now it's really starting to catch. And I'm hearing about it more and more and more. And not just on Fox, on other stations. About WikiLeaks. About the Clinton Foundation. About the pay-to-play bribery that was going on. The companies are speaking up saying, yeah, we knew if we gave money, we were going to get favors. It's going on, and it's starting to catch steam. And we're all getting tired of it. Now, one last thing before we go to break. If you don't like Trump, that's fine. That's fine. Don't like Trump. That's your right. But these idiots... One of them destroyed his star on the Walk of Fame. Now he's gotten arrested. And he was bragging in a video that he had done it and he doesn't care and he's been arrested 23 times. Maybe our government needs to step up their punishment. If this guy's been arrested 23 times, I don't care for what. Showing that he's never going to learn and maybe he should start doing a little bit more time. Because if you call yourself a protester and you're destroying property, you're not a protester, you're a vandal. And you're being a serial vandal. With that, you're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Network, Red Nation Rising Radio, YouTube, Spreaker, and iTunes. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. We also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
Listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on SHRmedia.com and HighPlainsDailyNews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
A team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean.
Dude, I'm not saying coffee was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint.
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
Also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mud Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense show. I am your host, Jersey Joe, and I'm making sense out of the senseless. The Jersey Takeover is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want to support the show and support SHR Media, go to reaver.one/shop. So while we were on break, I flipped on Facebook real quick, and you have the trending topics. Yeah. But what came up is Rupert Murdoch. So I was like, let's see what that jackass is up to. He actually did an interview, Rupert Murdoch did, and spoke out about contract talks with Megyn Kelly. Now, supposedly Megyn Kelly's wanting at least $20 million a year. That's the rumored. And Murdoch did. It's really weird that he did. Which he doesn't normally do. Let's see. Let's give an example. Where is it? Who is it? Anderson. Anderson Cooper recently redid his contract with CNN. That contract was not revealed that they were doing it until after everything was signed. Then it was revealed, hey, we re-signed. Now, one thing that Rupert Murdoch said that really... that doesn't bode well for Megyn. It says, while making it clear that he doesn't want Kelly to leave, Murdoch told the Journal reporter, "We have a deep bench of talent, many of whom would give their right arm for her spot." Now, her contracts expire this summer. From what I'm hearing, though, Rupert Murdoch's sons, one of them is like majorly in love with her, like inviting to dinner all the time. They have dinner at her house or his house. So I wouldn't doubt if she gets re-signed, but I don't know. I think Rupert Murdoch should be smacking his heads in the sun. And getting them straightened out. It's not the first time that we've heard that Kelly almost signed. Before this contract, Kelly admits that she almost went to CNN. Bye-bye. And her ratings that are dropping is not helping her. That's not helping her in her negotiations. Not an expert in this subject, but I am positive her failing ratings are not helping her negotiate more money. And the fact that she had this big primetime special in this past May, and it flopped. And she was even said, I remember seeing her talk about it on her show, it might be her avenue out of the news and into the mainstream, because it was done on Fox channel, not Fox News, Fox. And it was a flop. Nobody gave a shit about it. It was all hype. And that's it. You also have O'Reilly, who may not be around that much longer. A lot of people are getting tired of O'Reilly, too. I don't watch her. Fox is in trouble. They're losing some talent. I'm just... And Donald Trump's running mate, Mike Pence, Governor Mike Pence, well, he had a little scare. His plane skidded off the runway. So, of course, that jackass that I was picking on last night on Twitter, I was reading his, now all the Trump people are going to be running to InfoWars, and they're going to be saying that Hillary tried to kill Mike Pence. And I'm thinking, damn, your tinfoil hat is really strong. It was a friggin' accident. They're already saying that the airport that he landed at is not the best runway. It doesn't have the best facility. So it is what it is. Shit happens. Looking at something on a local news station. Federal judge looking into the registration of Florida. And there's 25,000 that are pending being approved for voter registration. And a judge is throwing a hissy fit on it. I don't know why I look at this piece of garbage, Bay News 9. They're just a wing of CNN. It's... and the people are letting them know that they're not dealing with this very well. They're tired of it. It's ridiculous. And the arguments that go on. I get so tired of that. Listen, you're for Hillary. Great. Go ahead. I don't agree with it. But it is not my place to tell you how to vote. I can give you the information on what's going on, and that's what I do on this program. But I'll never tell you who to vote for. Why? Because that is your First Amendment right. That is your freedom of speech to pick whoever you want. For whatever reason, whether I agree with it or not, for whatever reason you want. But at the same time, give me the same respect, which they don't. The Democrats do not give the same respect back. They don't look at it as free speech when it comes to their feelings getting hurt. When it's disagreeing with them, they want to attack because they do not respect anybody else. Where's my cursor? There it is. I can say, thank God it's Friday. So journalist snowflakes are scared. Donald Trump supporters are turning on the media. And it's not just Donald Trump supporters. Americans are not happy with the so-called journalists across the nation. But it's funny how they're crying about the treatment the members of the press are receiving at Trump campaign rallies. From the Trump supporters, the media routinely misrepresents as ignorant, racist, fascist Nazis or disenchanted working whites. They always got to degrade us. Then they wonder why we are turning on them. You can only beat on a dog so long before that dog bites you in the ass. Then the journalists are shocked and offended when people start chanting CNN sucks or prostitutes, which kind of makes me chuckle a little bit. Prostitutes. Just in case someone doesn't understand that joke, because I know I'll have to explain this to my mom later. Prostitutes, the press prostitutes. And that's what they're doing. They're selling themselves to Hillary Clinton. Otherwise, they would be reporting on WikiLeaks and not, the Russian release. They would stop that shit because it's been said time and time again. There is no proof it is the Russian. It is an accusation that the Democrats are given to try to discredit the messenger, not the message. It's already been proven that these messages are authentic. It's very easy to authenticate the emails. It is very easy to authenticate that they have not been tampered with. But the press, being the whores that they are kowtowing to Hillary like a bunch of servant slaves. Servant slaves. Slaves. Doesn't impress me, people. In fact, it makes me want to do my show even more. They try to act all butthurt because of their own actions have caused it. Then you have people like CNN's Wolf Blitzer breathlessly asking Trump's campaign manager to ask Trump to stop calling out the press at his rally because he is scared there could be an ugly incident between Trump supporters and hardworking young journalists who cover his rally. If they were hardworking, maybe they would report on Hillary, on WikiLeaks, on Benghazi, on email scandals, on her attacking women who have been raped and sexually assaulted by her husband. Maybe they would talk about how she has protected a serial sex addict, sex predator. Maybe they would start questioning some of these women that have come out to so-called accuse Trump of sexual misconduct and look into why they start a business the day before they make their accusations, why they waited over 30 years to make their accusations, why all of a sudden now they come out into the light. Maybe they'll like to know why some of them have received funding from Hillary's campaign. Maybe they would be reporting these journalists if they had an ounce of integrity on why the Democrats are breaking federal laws, why they are hiring these contractors to start violence on the opponent. The list goes on and on when it comes to Hillary, but the journalists, the snowflake journalists, are too scared to do their job. And what's funny is there is zero incidents of members of the media being physically attacked or assaulted at Trump rallies. They're having trouble getting people and paying people to start violence at the rallies to label the Trump rallies as violent. So now they have Hillary Clinton has their bitches, the media, carrying water on that to make the accusation. Nothing has happened, but they're going to make the accusation. And it proves the point of the people, why they call them prostitutes. It's it's scary. It's scary because these are the same people that used to expose the corruption of our government officials, and they are now the ones assisting our government officials in their corruption. Then they wonder why they have the lowest trust of the American people. It's disheartening as an American citizen. I don't know what's worse, the journalists that are getting bought out, or that their papers and so forth are allowing it, and that these organizations are getting bought out just as easily. I don't know. Then they wonder, and you have Obama crying and whining about alt media on the internet, such as SHR Media, and people going to them, and how the message is getting out. Then you wonder why he's out there trying to discredit us. The more he bitches about us, the more popular we get. Because all he's doing is exposing us to the people. And when he bitches about it, the people know and have learned the truth is the opposite of what he talks about. So I love it when Obama shoots his mouth off about those dark and seedy places on the internet that speak out against him. So, Obama, keep running your mouth because you do nothing but help our cause. And the other ones that people are waking up. The sleeping giant of America is waking up. And they're speaking out against the government. We are based on a country of people. That was their job. Or that's how this country got started, I should say. It wasn't their job. It was their duty. Is they didn't like the mistreatment they were getting from the government. So they stood up. And they fought against it. Well, right now, we're not fighting in the sense of violence. We're standing up, speaking out. And it's funny because Hillary says, I will be able to govern for everybody and treat everybody as equal. And she goes on in her little spiel. But yet she has downed us so much. She has downed such a large population in the United States, and she's called us every ism and ist in the book, but yet she can relate to us and be able to govern us fairly. Oh, and I don't know why it just popped in my head. There was one of the commercials had Hillary in that blue and it had the white collar. And her trying to relate to black people. Besides that, I like hot dogs. She has pandered to black people so disgustingly racist. I don't know if I put this article in here. I thought I did. Oh, here it is. Her last outfit that she wore for the debate was influenced by Death Row Records. My debate wardrobe was influenced by Death Row Records. And she is quoted as saying, I think Death Row and a lot of other fashion sources have influenced my look, don't you? She's saying she was being influenced by a company that was heavily involved in violence, heavily involved in fraud. I'm absolutely amazed that she came out and tried that pandering to black people. And as they said, she's worried about you now, but in 4 years, she'll worry about you now for the vote, and you won't hear from her again until another 4 years. Because the only times the politicians are worried about the black people are when it's voting time. The only one that I honestly think cares about the people, the black people, the white people, all colors, even Muslims, is Trump. And all these negatives that they talk about with him only came about since he decided to run for office. Otherwise, nobody was speaking so ill about him. It only came about when he decided to run for office. If that doesn't tell you something, I don't know what will. You're listening to the Reaver of Common Sense right here on SHR Media, High Plains Pundit Radio, ICRN Network, Red Nation Rising Radio, YouTube Speaker, and iTunes. We will be right back.
Listening to the SHR Media Network. Now, Brownells, we know you may have only one shot to harvest that trophy, so we have thousands of accessories and replacement parts to improve your chances. We know how much you love to shoot, so our gunsmiths articles and videos will help you do more and get more out of your guns. And we also value your hard work and money. That's why only Brownells backs up everything we sell with a 100% unconditional lifetime guarantee. Brownells, the world's largest supplier of firearm accessories and gunsmithing tools.
Breaking news. According to the latest report coming out of SHR Media, a merchandise store to support both the Reaver of Common Sense and SHR Media has just been unleashed to the general public. Be forewarned that this site can be contagious and numerous items can be purchased to support the best news programming. Go to Reaver.one website and click on the store link to check out the merchandise.
You have been listening to Reaver of Common Sense, hosted by my dad, Jersey Joe. Beware, the Jersey Takeover is here. Every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can catch the Reaver of Common Sense show, hosted by Jersey Joe, right here on shrmedia.com and highplainsdailynews.com. Only Jersey can deliver hell like no one else, so consider this your fair warning.
In a world controlled by corrupt politicians,
You got a business. That you didn't build that.
a team of ordinary men emerge from the ashes to give voice to the voiceless and hope to the hopeless. Sackhead Sean,
Dude, I'm not saying coffee was stupid, bro.
Sackhead Clint,
All good friends of ours usually show up drunk.
also starring Sacco as the producer.
I'm a little bit drunk, 'cause I'm drinking.
They are the Sackheads Radio Show. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Pacific on shrmedia.com.
Every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can catch the Southside Mutt Show with its hosts, the Jersey Boys, Jersey Joe and Crash, right here on SHR Media and High Plains Pundit Radio, where we will be digging up the dirt.
Times are dark. The people misled by corrupt politicians, lied to by establishment media, and deceived by the false messages of Islam. A nation in confusion needs a guide. It needs a man with a cane. I'm Dave Milner. Join me on Spreaker, SHR Media, High Plains Talk Radio, Live Rebooting Liberty, and YouTube for a unique brand of commentary on the unpleasant blind guide. Because truth is not always pleasant.
If you miss a show, don't worry. You can catch the replays two ways, rebootingliberty.com or the Reaver of Common Sense.com. While you're there on Reaver of Common Sense, don't forget, drop in your email and keep up to date on everything going on, or click the like button on the Facebook widget. Now on to the Reaver of Common Sense.
Listening to the SHR Media Network.
This show contains language that some viewers may find offensive. Listener discretion is advised. And now on to the show. And welcome back to the Reaver of Common Sense. I am your host, Jersey Joe. And we're going to try to make sense out of the senseless. The Jersey expansion is here. We have expanded to 2 hours every Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And if you want a kick-ass t-shirt, which I know you really do, go to reaver.one/shop. Go to reaver.one/shop. Oh my God, so Hillary Clinton saying that Biden will be the Secretary of State if she wins the election. Oh my fucking God. Oh, God, that's more of a reason not to vote. There's also a vice president that has threatened violence against another candidate. He has talked about how he wished they were in high school so he could take Trump behind the gym, which would scare the shit out of me that he would want to take me behind the gym. What else would he want to take me behind? This has gotten sickening and turned our politics into a goddamn joke. It's just... Politicians, especially sitting presidents and vice presidents, do not get involved in elections. But, of course, when it comes to Democrats, they have no ethics or morals. And it shows me just how sorry of a candidate they have, that they need help. Trump has people out there with him. He has family members doing some campaigning for him. He has people that open for him at rallies. Hillary has to send a host of people out to rally for her. She needs Biden to go out there and rally. But we found out she really can't send her vice president out there because he gets 30 people, and that's including the press, showing up for a rally. They have to cancel events. God knows how many events they had to cancel. I know of 3 events they had to cancel in Florida because they didn't have anybody showing up for it. They had to cancel, I think, one for today in Sarasota because there was nobody signing up for it. They have to send Obama out there, President Obama. They have to send Michelle Obama out. They have to send Bill Clinton out there while Hillary sits at home because she's physically unable to handle the rallies. Seriously, people, take a look at this. She can't go out there and handle it. Trump's out there doing 3 rallies a day minimum. Plus all the stops that he makes. He makes up to 8 stops in a single day. 3 rallies in a single day. They're not always in the same state either. And she bitches. Hillary bitches because he took part of a day off. How many is she doing? She should shut her fucking mouth on that to try to hide it. And even Democrat officials know they are in trouble. You have former Pennsylvania Governor Ed Randell and a Hillary Clinton ally, and that says that the Hillary campaign should not be declaring victory so early like she has been. You know what? I say go ahead. Do it because you're pissing off more people because they see what it is, a psych ops, and you're trying to get them to not vote. But then it also has another effect on the Democrats that planned on voting for her. She said she already won. Why do I have to go out and vote? And it makes me laugh. I didn't even think of that point. But Pennsylvania Governor, former Pennsylvania Governor Ed Randell, and I have no problem against Randell. I don't. And he knows, and he said that there's a hidden Donald Trump vote there. All this talk about it being over and now the real contest is the Senate is going to persuade a couple of Hillary Clinton voters and Democrat voters to say, well, what do I have to stand in line for an hour to vote for? Randell cautioned, there's a lot of things that are in motion that are favorable to Donald Trump, and I wouldn't say that it's over them. The odds are that he's going to lose, but I wouldn't bet my life on it. He went on to talk about if you're an African-American voter and you like Hillary because you're always like the Clintons, but you know it's not Barack Obama, and you read that Hillary's got Pennsylvania locked up, the Philadelphia Inquirer said that the Trump team has conceded Pennsylvania this morning. You read that and you say she's going to win anyways? What do I have to stand in line for an hour? If I were the Clinton team, I would be desperately worried about that type of talk. Desperately worried. And he even admitted that the majority of the media is against Donald Trump and favors Hillary Clinton. And that's a Democrat. And that's not some Trump supporter that's wearing a tinfoil hat. That's one of her allies. And what it's doing is pissing off and pushing people that might have been Trump supporters that said, yeah, I don't feel like going to vote. Oh, wait a minute. She's got it. Oh, let me go out there. I'm going to make sure I vote against her. Keep it up. It's, I don't know. And a black Harvard professor has come out and saying that safe space do more harm than good. According to a black professor at Harvard University, providing safe space to minority students just is more harmful. It damages the relationship with other ethnical groups on campus. It shuts off people getting together and exposing different ideas to come up with new ideas. It amazes me, these safe spaces, and now you have you're having these quote-unquote protests out in California by black groups that they want to be segregated from whites. They're attacking white people, white college students that are trying to just go study. Well, that's a civil rights violation right there. They're attacking people based on color. And what's worse, let's see if I can explain this where it makes sense. So the Democrats were against the end of segregation. They lost that fight. Now, what they've done is now convince these black groups, years later, and to have these black groups pushing for segregation. So the Democrats are getting what they want. They lost the small fight, but that battle's back up, and now they're not the ones fighting the battle. They've brainwashed these groups into thinking it's a smart idea. So the Democrats are getting what they originally wanted. They eased up and took that loss, and are now fighting it again. But they convinced these groups to do it for them. I've said it before and I'll say it again. I am not an expert on Martin Luther King. But I'm sure he's turning over in his grave because those groups are proving that he died in vain. Everything that he stood for, they're standing against. Everything that he died for. That man was murdered trying to make sure that segregation ended, amongst other. I mean, there was other things that he stood for, but he was against segregation. He wanted to end to segregation, and he died for it. And now these groups walk all over his grave, pushing for segregation again. That makes me just disgusted. There should be no segregation. We should take our differences, learn to get along. Just because someone disagrees with you does not make them a racist. You take different ideas, even ones you don't agree with. Take your ideas and better ideas come about. Hey, we got Crash calling in for the last, 10 minutes. Hold on. And welcome to the show, Crash. How are you doing today? And yes, we are live, before you ask.
I wasn't going to bother him the way you just introduced me. Usual. Went to the principal's office, had a little chit-chat. Normal type of stuff.
You got sent to the principal's office?
Oh, yeah, regarding a couple of my students. This is the best way to put it. But anyway, so what's up?
Well...
Call in. Hold on a second. Yes, I call you, and then I tell you to go on hold.
Yeah, I know.
All right, so what's up?
No, just I was talking briefly, and we'll get on to the other subject that we talked about prior to the show. But I was talking about a black Harvard professor saying that safe spaces do more harm than good. And I was talking about, I might not be an expert on Martin Luther King Jr., but one of the things he died for was to end segregation. And now you have these black groups in California that are pushing for segregation. They want their own dorms. They want separate classes. And they are actually attacking white students in protest. Mm-hmm. But this is the man died to end, amongst other things, he died, got murdered, trying to end segregation. And that's pissing all over his graves, these groups. And secondly, the Democrats didn't want to end segregation, as we all know. They wanted to keep it going. And they are famous for setting back. They might lose a battle, but now these Democrats have convinced these black groups that it'd be smart to have segregation. So they're getting what they wanted originally by just sitting back and biding their time.
Yeah, essentially. I think we said it before. I mean, they don't ever go for the sprint. They go for the marathon.
Yeah.
Every now and again, I mean, they make quick moves and they'll push something real fast, but in the end, they sit back and it's like, oh, okay, we went a little too fast here. All right, let's slow down the boil. We'll get there. We'll cook this freaking frog eventually.
Yeah.
You know, and it's crap. But I mean, yeah. That guy, he died. I mean, that was one of the reasons. I mean, the whole thing was segregation. And that's the one thing that really chaps my ass about anytime somebody invokes his name and, this is why we do it, this is why we're standing up to demand, the whole BLM and all the rest of this stuff. It was not about just blacks. It was about segregation. It was about blacks, whites, Latinos. It was the whole goddamn thing. That's what he was about.
Yeah.
So you're pissing on him every time you invoke his name in an act of hate towards a race, any race. So there. Hey, like them apples.
So I already talked about it. I talked about it briefly, but the Bundy group, all 7 of them out in Oregon, have been found innocent, not guilty. And now there's talk. Now there's talks. The Bundys are still under arrest. They're still being held because they have other charges relating back to the Bundy incident. Now they're saying those charges may get dropped because they are the same types of charges that they were under for this, and the government may actually step back because they've been, proven that they weren't a violent group, that they were just protesting.
But, the funny thing is with the whole thing with the Bundys, and this is the thing that I really kind of find funny with that. Now, I can't remember a lot of specifics with the whole Bundy group, but most of their protesting, it was done on private property. It was their property.
Well, the second one that was done in Oregon, they went to a federal reserve, which technically...
Yeah, that was the Oregon one. But I'm talking about the original Bundy thing. A lot of that took place on private property. Yeah. Yet they were still charged with a bunch of crap.
They got charged and arrested a year later. That's the funny part, and a lot of people are saying, well, what the hell is this? A year later, you're arresting them? It's not like they were like the charges were out there before, and they went into hiding. These people are out in the open, and all of a sudden...
Yeah, and the funny thing is, the Bundys, correct me if I'm wrong, but they got arrested on those charges when they showed up in Oregon at an airport to support the Oregon thing.
Yeah.
So...
Well, one of them got arrested while he was the one son was helped leading the charge and was at the federal site, and he had stepped off when he got arrested. But this also, since it's been proven that they were peacefully protesting. Well, what about Lavoy Finnegan that got killed by the FBI? This is going to, and they're already under investigation over that.
I hope that thing blows up again, because I don't like the fact, other than people that are keeping it alive, that's gotten fucking buried. It's like, oh, yeah, it happened. Okay, well, let's not do it anymore. Hey, let's talk about Kim Kardashian's ass. Yeah, we need to talk about that for a week.
We got the media who puts a spin on that protest. But the protests of BLM that has turned violent several times, that go into looting and all this, they get made out to be justice warriors when there was nothing violent at the Oregon.
Yeah, that's the fun, and that's the thing I get a real kick out of. Is okay, so let's do a little quick comparison. So we've got nonviolent protests. Okay, so we've got the ones with BLM and, all their stuff. And let's just see here. They take over facilities. Well, the Oregon protesters, they took over a facility. BLM, a lot of it was private property. Oregon, it was public property or federal property,
right.
which a lot of people would still consider, public.
It's owned by the people.
There was firearms in both cases, but let's see. Where were shots fired and people actually shot and injured? Other than Lavoy Finicum on that road, not one goddamn round was fired in Oregon, yet every one of these peaceful protests with the BLM, shots fired.
Let's also go to the Finicum incident. There was people in the truck, and they were videoing it. They were trying to surrender, and those federal agents kept firing on them, trying to kill them.
They opened fire on a vehicle without
provocation.
Where's the threat? I mean, okay, fine. You want to say there's a threat behind that door? Well, you have yet to identify the threat. That is the first rule. What if one of those people was a threat? Yes, and the other one was a 6-year-old hostage that you didn't fucking know about.
Yeah.
I mean,
they opened fire.
Supposed to be the professional?
And they were trying to surrender. That's the part. They were trying to surrender, and they were being fired at.
Every time they tried to stick a head up or a hand up, the damn near got shot off.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not surrendering either.
And then people wonder why the government gets this view in the Midwest, out in middle America. I mean, those are people that hate the federal government and have been attacked by the federal government multiple times.
Well, that's because all this stuff that happens out in these rural areas, it doesn't make mainstream media because there's almost never, there's no witnesses. The news isn't really as concerned about it. There's not as much population impact. It almost never, when it does come up, it's like, oh, that's just another redneck bitching. But actually, along with that here, I got a question for you. Why is it that every time in one of these inner cities, somebody goes and there's a shooting or a mugging or a stabbing or anything else, oh, I didn't see nothing. Nope, I didn't see nothing. Well, I got no recordings on my camera. I've got nothing. A cop freaking puts handcuffs on somebody too tightly. 25 different videos, 600 eyewitness reports. Oh, please explain that one to me.
I can't.
I mean, half this shit is bullshit.
All right, just to change up the subject, because we only got 2 minutes, and I want to throw this article in there. So a man on his private property, teens kept taking his Trump Pence sign, taking them down and destroying them. Well, he finally caught who they were and had the police involved. Well, him and the officer talked, and the officer said these kids have no record, and he would hate to see these kids get their record destroyed over something stupid of kids being kids kind of thing. So what the guy does is he makes a deal with the officers. If the kids apologize to him and put all the signs back together and put back in their proper place, he will not press charges. And the kids turned around and they actually agreed to it and they apologized. They said it's not that were against Trump. They're not voting for either candidate. They were just being 18-year-olds being dumb. They thought it would be funny. They apologized. They didn't think of the part that it was silencing free speech. So the guy actually did not press charges, allowed it to drop, and these kids think it's funny, but they don't understand the implications that it has on a larger scale.
You know what, honestly, I think that guy handled that rather well.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, okay, if it's kids being stupid kids and kids making mistakes, then fine. They need to be educated. Well, that was an education for them.
Yeah.
Just the same as, shit, when you and I were kids, well, if you went and vandalized somebody's house and you got caught doing it, what'd you have to do? Clean up the mess.
Yeah.
You got caught toilet paper in somebody's house. It sucked if it rained the next day and you had to go clean that shit up. But that taught you a lesson. Honestly, I think the biggest problem with the kids is the parents don't fucking discipline them. Everybody is so afraid to discipline a kid nowadays. It's freaking ridiculous. You got kids telling parents what's going to happen. You know, that's a whole other show. That's next week. Next week on, what the hell is the name of that show? Reaver After Dark?
No, Southside Mutts.
Oh, that was a kickback.
I know. I hate to do it, but we are out of time already.
Yeah, sorry I was calling in for so late, but
no problem, man.
Thanks for having me on.
No problem. We'll talk to you next week. I'm sure you'll be calling in on Wednesday, and look forward to it.
Yep, I will be here, and I'll give you a call a little later on, Jordan. All right?
All right. Talk to you later.
All right, have a good one, America. Bye.
All right. Hey, for everybody else, I want to say thank you for joining me. Hopefully you enjoyed the interview with Project Veritas today. And I want to thank Russ from Project Veritas for agreeing to come on the show and talk about the videos. And with that, everybody, have a great weekend. Be safe. Thank you. Goodbye. You've been listening to the Reaver of Common Sense with its host, Jersey Joe. You can tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on hppundit.com and shrmedia.com.